It's me, Julian Venables, the London astrologer, and I'm here today to give you an overview of what's coming up in the year 2021. Today, I'm going to be telling you about Jupiter square Uranus, Neptune square the nodes, Saturn square Uranus, and Jupiter's relatively fast movement through Aquarius and into Pisces. These are all the big themes that are happening this year. And the overview of this is, of course, the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that just happened in Aquarius. So, we're here. We've had the great conjunction. We had the Christmas star. We have seen this happen. But, you know, even though it has happened with these two major slow-moving planets meeting at 0 degrees Aquarius, triggering a whole new epoch, a whole new paradigm, a whole new era, we might not have actually consciously woken up to it yet. It's there and it's happening. And in fact, last night when the moon went into Leo and opposed Jupiter-Saturn, we have now had that kind of the stirrings in our unconscious, which is the moon, have risen up towards these outer planets. It'll only be really once the sun moves into Aquarius around about January the 21st that we'll start to consciously start to recognize what's been going on. Mercury zooms ahead, goes into Aquarius as well, and Venus. And in fact, we're leading up to, and this is the very exciting bit here, is that around February the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, there is no less than 7 planets in Aquarius. It's unheard of. I mean, it's actually quite exciting and very epic. So many planets, and this hasn't happened since around about 1962, 1963, which was the herald, of course, of the 1960s being that time of revolution and, if you like, reform. You know, big changes occurring. So we're now at the threshold of that, and even though you might not have quite fully decided how you're going to use those outer planets in your life, Jupiter and Saturn, which are planets of career and profession and ambition, and growth into a social structure, if you like, or into a career-based structure. When those quicker moving planets catch up to them and we get the conjunction, Sun conjunct Saturn and Jupiter, Mercury conjunct Saturn, Jupiter, Venus conjunct, then the real seeds are planted, the real conscious recognition of how you can take action for a new 20-year cycle will begin. So this month, we're still in that preparatory phase. We're still in that moving towards knowing something has shifted, something has changed, and moving towards that to then see how that will sprout, will grow into new existence. So this video is meant to be relatively short. I'm going to talk to you about some of the major aspects this year. And first up, we have Jupiter square Uranus, which will be at 6 degrees of Aquarius. Jupiter at 6 Aquarius and Uranus and the the first up aspect, the first major aspect occurring this year will be January the 17th, in just over 2 weeks' time. Jupiter in Aquarius squares Uranus in Taurus. So Jupiter in Aquarius is the planet that is all about opportunities for individuation, for embracing originality. It's about expansion into innovation, expansion into invention, expansion into the universal mind. The square is tension. It's a push-pull action, and it can be frustrating, but it is motivating. And it'll be squaring, Jupiter squares Uranus in Taurus. Taurus is about nature. It's about pleasure and peacefulness. Uranus, though, is that unpredictable rebel, the surpriser, the awakener. So maybe there's some good times to be had when Jupiter squares Uranus. But also, Taurus is about abundance, and Jupiter is about bigging it up, and the square is attention. So there could be quite a lot of expansion and abundance in certain areas. Now that could be out of control. So I would say be very wary of how things can go easily out of control. Saying that, to add to that, these are fixed signs which tend to like to stabilize something or be very unmoving and firm and steadfast. So again, it might be things that are changing that wouldn't normally have changed. So this is something to consider. The next aspect coming up is January the 26th, and that will be Neptune in Pisces squaring the north and south node. So the nodes are set by the eclipses. They're the movement of the points of destiny. It's to do with the moon's orbit and how it makes it's to do with the moon's orbit and its relationship to planet Earth. But the idea of nodes is our sense of destiny. It's like a karmic point of what we're going towards, and it's a lot to do with a sense of inevitability, what you're going to go towards, how you're going to something you're pulled towards, if you like. And at the moment, the north node is in Gemini, and the south node is in Sagittarius. So there's a huge theme there to do with learning, knowledge, and the information that we're given, the information that we understand things to be. So that's also like truth and fact, or logic and reasoning. But it's also the need for philosophy, the need for the bigger picture when compared to the logical facts or the smaller details. And that's that nodal axis in Gemini and Sag. Neptune in Pisces can be completely deluded, completely illusory, completely like, what on earth is going on and why has this happened? Neptune's been building up to the nodes now for quite a few months. Most of 2020, in fact, the nodes and Neptune were in a wide aspect to each other. That has been getting closer and closer. It now goes exact. So it could almost be like a sense of letting go of something, because Neptune is a dissolution or dissolving of something. So the knowledge, the understanding, the questing, the message, the information, Neptune dissolves it a bit. And it could be that what's kind of happening there is a sense of did we get hoodwinked, or have we been hoodwinked? Have there been some sort of big kind of like illusion, a mass delusion even? And because Neptune is to do with self-sacrifice as well. And so maybe there's quite a strong message of that coming through. It's at 19 degrees Pisces, 19 degrees Gemini and Sag. And it also affects 19 Virgo. So if you've got planets or points in these mutable signs, then it's about adaptation, variation, and change. Again, Neptune has a very strong streak of like having to do something for others that can't be avoided. Self-sacrifice is the theme there, and martyrdom, and it could be that, you know, it's like, well, I can't do anything about it. It has to happen. So in a way, that is a very interesting kind of perspective to take at the moment. But it's a learning thing, because Gemini and Sagittarius are very learning signs. So there's knowledge, there's information, there's understanding. And Neptune is attuning to the collective. So there might be a bigger message for the collective to be tuned into, all around about January 26th. Then that brings us to February the 17th, when we have the first Saturn square Uranus. Now, folks, this is a big one, okay? Because you see, if January 17th, a month before, was Jupiter square Uranus, which was bigging up changes, bigging up awakenings, bigging up a sense of, expansion and opportunity and the large creation of change or unpredictability or excitement or awakening, rebellion, maybe. Saturn then is the structure and the form. And Saturn squares Uranus, which means the older structures, the institutions, the things that never changed, are needing to reorder themselves. And Saturn in Aquarius is about a social reordering. So we're looking here at this idea of the structure of groups, associations, institutions, maybe, social groupings. And Uranus in Taurus, again, is this idea of abundance, sudden surprising things happening to do with a sense of nature, maybe, maybe materialism. There might be some big things happening for people. I would actually say, with Jupiter square Uranus followed by Saturn square Uranus, keep an eye on things like there's the metals markets, commodities, but also keep an eye on cryptocurrency. It could be that cryptocurrency has a big spring, and suddenly goes, something happens. Very interesting with that. And the Iranian influence behind that is the idea that we're innovation, that we're moving forwards into new territory, if you like, unexplored areas. But Saturn square Uranus goes back to October 1988, because that was when the Saturn conjunction to Uranus occurred at the end of Sagittarius. So there is definitely a theme of exploration, questing, and the truth, and the philosophy, and the honesty of something coming through here that started in October 1988. This is a major turning point this year in terms of what started in October 88. So that was the dissolution of the Iron Curtain, for example, the freeing up of Eastern Europe, but it was also large gatherings of people, essentially for music and dancing in the UK. But there was a lot of other great movements. There was great youth movements. There was a lot of movement of people wanting change, and this is now going to be reflected 32 years later. Quite exciting. So the first time is February the 17th at 7 degrees Aquarius. Saturn squares Uranus. Uranus at 7 Taurus. It's going to happen again on the 14th of June, when Saturn and Uranus are going to be at 13 degrees Aquarius and Taurus. That's when Saturn's retrograde. That's reviewing what's been moved forwards, if you like. There's been a movement, and then there's a review of that movement. And then it peaks again on December the 24th, when Saturn squares Uranus at 11 degrees Aquarius. This is, if you want a rebellion, now's the time to do it. But whether people can rebel when Uranus is in Taurus is another matter altogether. So there might be themes of what the importance of materialism and possession or possessiveness. There might be a lot of rigid, unyielding and overcautious people wanting to see change, but not doing necessarily the things that they need to do to make the changes. In your own life, that can be, you want to make some changes. You want to develop in a new direction. You want to do something different. But are you doing that? Or are you comfortable with Uranus in Taurus? Because Uranus in Taurus tends to say, don't do anything. Be loyal, be steadfast, stick with it. So it's a very interesting kind of, a little bit of paradox. There's some tension between Saturn and Uranus. But if you think about the conjunction in October 1988, then you're going to have this idea of, let's be truthful, let's be honest, let's be philosophical. I want some freedom. We want some freedom. We want something that allows us to express ourselves in a more open and honest fashion. And that could be the turning point of this year. That could be actually what the essence of it all is. So now let's look at Jupiter moving quite fast through Aquarius. It's going to be going, it goes through Aquarius, it goes into Pisces on May the 13th. It goes to 2 degrees Pisces, it retrogrades June 20th, it goes back into Aquarius on July the 28th. And then it goes direct on October the 18th, and then back into Pisces on December the 28th. So to bring Jupiter themes that are building up between now and May are again to do with innovation, intuition, the universal mind, the loyalty to visions or causes that support freedom. These are all very important factors. And this is what Jupiter is going to be shouting at. You know, Jupiter bigs it up. Jupiter wants people to know something. It can be a bit disruptive with its squares to Uranus, but it can be very aloof or rebellious. But also there's this individuation. There's a sense of what I must do. You know, the individual, as to grow into your own life, you have to have individuation. So there's a sense of, yeah, if I do what I do, then I'll be a freedom fighter for that cause. And so in a way, when Jupiter then goes into Pisces, it brings in more empathy, sensitivity, visions and dreams. And that allows more flexibility and variability because Pisces is very flowing and moving and a sense of changeable. So there's a sense of be loyal to your own vision, be loyal to what you want, move forwards with that, and you'll get what you want, because then people will be more fluid with it, with how you can direct your life and do what you want to do. So folks, that's a very, very quick roundup of the planets this year. My name's Julian Venables. I call myself the London Astrologer. My channel, as you're on it now, is Julian the London Astrologer. Please do subscribe to my channel, which I do believe is the red button here. Please give me a thumbs up. Thumbs ups are very important. And you're also very welcome to leave a comment. In fact, comments are great and I shall always try to reply to them. Visit my social media. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and LinkedIn. Ask me for readings. I do readings and I enjoy giving readings, and I enjoy telling you everything that I can tell you about my 25 years of learning astrology and practicing astrology. And I'll see you again soon. It's been a pleasure to talk to you today, and do please share my video. Thank you, and a very, very happy 2021. Goodbye for now.